Joining me now is our in-house law firm, everybody's favorite. Neil Katyal is the former acting U.S. Solicitor General. Andrew Weissman is the former general counsel at the FBI. He's also the co-author of a brand new best-selling book, The Trump Indictments, the Historic Charging Documents with Commentary. So, okay, Andrew, I want to start with something you tweeted. You tweeted, my guess, Trump may have someone like Elon Musk co-signing the Chubb bond so the bank is comfortable being on the hook for the judgment. Same could happen for the bond for the AG $450 million judgment. Can you explain to us what you mean, how that works, what you think is happening here?
Sure. Well, listening to your first segment, Jen, about whether Donald Trump is going to be successful in running as an outsider, this is an example of his running not just as an outsider, but as an outlaw. And not just the criminal cases, but you have these civil cases where he has judgments. He has two up to $91 million in the E. Jean Carroll case, and obviously the $450 million in the New York fraud case. And the concern in these civil cases with these civil judgments is, who is the candidate beholden to? Is he somebody who is going to be making policy and being deferential to people who have put up money? And, there's a simple way of looking at this, is he has 450 million reasons to be deferential if somebody else is putting up the money or co-signing. So, for instance, Elon Musk, I'm not saying he is the co-signer, but, he has said, I have not given up money. But that's not the only way that you can help Donald Trump get a bond. He can actually co-sign it. And so that issue of who is actually behind this is something that people who are voting should know.
It sounds very clear what Andrew's talking about, but I think it's important for people to understand why that matters, because it sounds like Trump is beholden to someone. We don't know who it is. We may never know who it is. Maybe we will. But regardless of who it is, what dangers does that pose, especially since he could be president again?
So huge dangers, Jen. So it's, first of all, like, not every day that someone posts a $92 million bond.
Right. It's an important thing to remember.
Yeah, and it's not even close to the biggest bond he has to post this month. And so Andrew's raising the point that if someone is guaranteeing that bond besides Trump, the way a parent might co-sign a lease for their college kid's apartment or something, that can make them indebted to that person. It could give a whole new meaning to the term political dark money. And indeed, like, when you have a national security position, as you know, you go through a background check, and one of the key things they try and investigate is, who are you beholden to financially? Who are you liable to financial coercion with? And right now, we have a presidential candidate who put up a $90 million bond, who has to put up another $454 million one, and the public has absolutely no idea right now what arrangement led him to do that. Maybe he has his own assets that he's pledged as collateral, I don't know, but I suspect Judge Kaplan may get into that as early as tomorrow.
Well, looking forward to that. Who is behind it is a pretty key question here. So I want to play for both of you some of Trump's speech last night, which I hope you weren't up late watching. But he mentioned E. Jean Carroll, and I want to talk to you about it on the other side.
I just posted a $91 million bond, 91 million, on a fake story, totally made up story. 91 million, based on false accusations made about me by a woman that I knew nothing about, didn't know, never heard of. I know nothing about her.
So, Neil, let me start with you. Did you hear that? Did he cross the line? Did he defame E. Jean Carroll again?
It sure sounds like it. And Jen, there are many days that I wish I was Roberta Kaplan, who is Jean Carroll's extraordinary lawyer. She's just so phenomenal as a lawyer. But boy, today is the day I really wish I was, because Donald Trump is basically just writing the third lawsuit that she's going to file right now. And it's absolutely within her rights to bring that lawsuit and create a whole nother, remember, Trump lost in front of a jury of his peers on this question of whether he had defamed Jean Carroll. And now he's doing it again. And I'm sure she's just sitting there, just scribbling it all down and ready to go.
This is a sign you love your job, that you wish you were Robbie Kaplan, by the way, which is a good thing. Andrew, let me go to you. I mean, well, first of all, do you agree that he crossed the line and defamed her again? But also, I mean, even if it's he crossed the line by law, Do you think Robbie Kaplan should just keep suing him? How do you feel about that for rule of law and just the cycle of it?
So I think there are two issues on that, which is there enough here for Robbie Kaplan to sue again? And I think the answer to that is yes. The issue of whether it's defamation, a jury again can make that decision. But what the clip you played, and there's actually more of it, where he refers to her as being crazy. He said this happened because he has the affliction of being rich, meaning that this was just a lawsuit to, as a gold digger. Those are all the kinds of things that would be the basis for a third lawsuit. And as Neil said, there are already two juries that have found him liable. Yes, she could bring this third suit. She could also do something that happened against Rudy Giuliani until he filed for bankruptcy, which is actually seeking an injunction. Because at some point, obviously, now that Donald Trump has found some sort of sugar daddy to pay up the bond in this case, he then feels no compunction going out and making these statements. Another remedy, which is harder to get, is to get an injunction that actually would be a court saying, you cannot do this anymore. At some point, you actually have to stop, because this is continuing damage to E. Jean Carroll. And as the jury found, and this was argued successfully, this is a man who first sexually assaulted her, was found by a jury, and then continued to defame. So if you just remember who the victim is here, at some point it really has to stop. Money is no longer a sufficient deterrent.